The Spongebob movie, Sponge Out of Water. It's like a typical episode of the Spongebob series, except things go a bit different. Plankton's trying to get the formula, but all of a sudden, it disappears, and he and Spongebob have to go find it because everyone else has gone crazy because all the Krabby Patties have gone. And Antonio Banderas is there. He's the villain. The pirate Burger Beard. Now, as you know, I made 2 videos on this movie. One was a superhero photo I found, which made me go crazy. I lost it in that video. And I have to admit, I was a bit too harsh there, because I said I was gonna protest this movie. I actually don't know what I was thinking. I think I was just trying to ad-lib, but it didn't turn out as good as I thought it was, so I apologize. And the trailer gave me some hope, but I thought there were some things that I should be worried about there. I've heard some great things about this movie from critics, and I was really looking forward to this movie tonight, and I've got to say, I really enjoyed myself watching the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. I'm just gonna say Sponge Out of Water. That's easier. First off, the animation. I have said that I would have preferred the original cartoon animation instead of the CGI, which I'll get to in a moment. I realized that the live action scenes with them in CGI were actually like the third act, like the last 10 to 15 minutes, which actually was pretty good because we got to stare at the great cartoon animation under Bikini Bottom, which I love. And even though I have hated on the CGI does look good. And it's good to see these guys running around as themselves. They look really good in the CGI. And when they get the superpowers for a limited amount of time, they actually do look good, even though it's kind of odd staring at SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward and seeing six-packs. The voice cast, amazing as well. Tom Kenny, a great voice talent. He does a great job as SpongeBob, and he just ceases to annoy me. A lot of people say, SpongeBob gets annoying, and I was like, yeah, he does at times, but I still like him, and in this movie, he is greatly likable. SpongeBob is officially 100% likable now. Hoorah. Patrick, he's lovable Patrick. He's an idiot, and that's what makes him so lovable and funny. Sandy goes a bit crazy, actually, with the Krabby Patty withdrawal, so it's kind of interesting to see her, like, in, like, dirty rags and talking about the sandwich gods. Squidward, he's Squidward, but he actually, when I think about it, he barely had any lines. Like, he had a few. He was a part of the movie, but he had, like, very limited lines. Then there's Mr. Krabs. He's the cheapskate. His character's still intact. We have, like, refund going to his head and spit him out. Refund! His eyes turn into dollar signs. It's Mr. Krabs for you. And, of course, the big diabolical villain, Plankton. He is still great. Plankton's always great. His schemes always fail. Sometimes, but he is still a likable character and a likable presence. Whoever does the voice for him, I apologize, I don't know. You do a great job as Plankton. What surprised me, actually, which is also a flaw, that Mrs. Puff and Larry the Lobster, Pearl, all these, like, minor characters who have impacted us in the episodes before, didn't really have much to do in the movie. Like, Mrs. Puff has a line, and Pearl has a line during the starting credits. I didn't stick around to hear if Larry had any lines or anything, but yeah, not in the movie. Miss Puff had a line in the movie, nothing else. That's it. And Gary's not in the movie as much. Gary, no! One problem I had with the casting was Antonio Banderas. Now, I know this is a cartoon adaptation, I got it, but Antonio Banderas, he, like, crosses a line with the goofy cartoon antics. Like, he's fine at one point, then all of a sudden he's just, like, laughing, like, or he's running away from green screen bubbles, and you can clearly tell he's running from a green screen. Dude, you what? And as far as his character development goes, he's just really like the big bad villain who's just there to be there and doesn't really have any growth or any development. It's just, look, here's the villain and done. Another flaw I had with the movie was that, unlike the first SpongeBob movie, that movie actually felt like it should be a movie. Like, there are some parts of it, like, that doesn't feel like a traditional episode. I'm glad they made it into a movie. With this movie, it literally feels like they just extended an original cartoon. They were just like, hey, this could actually work for a movie. Let's make that a movie. Which is fine. I still had a good time with it, but You couldn't try to put anything else there. I mean, I know there's a message in there, I got it. Good for kids, but you couldn't try to put any more substance into it to try to make it more than just an extended episode. The one standout thing about this movie is the comedy. In the newer episodes of SpongeBob, you're just like, that's pretty funny. But then sometimes you're just like, oh, isn't this SpongeBob? Why am I not laughing? This movie brings back great comedic jokes. Anyone remember the certain body part scream that happens once? I literally laughed out loud. Overall, you know what, this is a kid's movie, you know? It's not meant for me as much because I'm 14. I'm almost going on to 15. What's so weird? I'm almost 15. Almost get my learner's permit to drive. So you can kind of tell when if you guys go see the movie that there's two parts where it just got really like, ooh, what is going on? Because there are two songs in this movie. Ooh, I was just sitting there like, oh. I all of a sudden just felt uncomfortable because SpongeBob doesn't necessarily have the greatest singing voice. And there's a rap battle near the end. I'm not going to give away what it's about, but it's a rap battle. But you know what? This is just a fun SpongeBob movie. The voice acting is great, and the animation and the jokes are great. If you're looking for substance, well, you can go watch the first SpongeBob movie, and if you're looking for a good villain, well, you can go watch, like, almost any other movie ever that has a good villain. But this movie does shine, and it actually makes me feel bad for what I've said about the SpongeBob movie, so I apologize 95% because I didn't like some parts of the movie, but I did like it overall. I'm gonna give the SpongeBob movie Sponge Out of Water a B. I think it's a really, really fun kids movie. Maybe you might not be into it because maybe you're too old now, or maybe you just never liked SpongeBob. If you didn't like SpongeBob, or you think you're too old for it, then don't see it. But if you don't think you're too old for it, then go on down and see it. So what did you guys think of the SpongeBob movie? Leave it in the comments below. And I'm gonna have a late review for Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and I'm going to have another classic movie review up. And it goes along with the new trailer that released. You'll see that soon. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.